Hey everyone, today we're going to be showing you how to install the Tusk Full Glass Windshield on your Kawasaki KRX 1000. It's going to be the same process for the 2 and the 4-seaters, and this is made from super durable laminated safety auto glass. So this is going to stay looking good for a long time, and it's going to stand up to the elements and keep that wind and other debris off of your face. Now, if things get hot throughout the day, you have that vent door at the bottom. It lets that airflow into the cab to cool you off. And as things get dirty, you've got a windshield wiper to help clear this off. So as far as installation goes, it's a simple process. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is prep our windshield. So to get this done, I've laid out a blanket. That way we prevent scratching this. I also have a couple wooden blocks to space it out for now. It's going to help us install some of these parts. And we need to get this bulb seal installed first. The shorter piece, it's going to fit right in the middle. And if this doesn't fit on tight right away, you can always pinch this tighter for a more secure fit, but it should push on pretty tight as it is. And if you want to get this on a little bit easier, you can use a soft face mallet or dead blow hammer and just tap it on. So these are pre-cut to length, but if there's a little bit extra or something like that, you can use some side cutters and trim that off. And then the 2 longer pieces of bulb seal trim are going on each side. Next, we're going to move on to installing the vent door brackets. To get these installed, we're using the shorter of the 2 M6 bolts. So there's going to be 5 shorter M6 bolts. I'm going to go through the front side of the windshield. And if you're not sure how this should be oriented, the bends on the sides of the windshield, they should be facing up right now. So once you put that bolt through the front, you can take vent bracket A, set that on there. You've got a M6 nylock nut. We'll do that for the other location as well. Next, you have bracket C. Set that in place, and the 90-degree bend, that's going to face the bend on bracket A. We'll use the same sizes of hardware for this as well. Next, we have vent bracket B. This is going to sit in between A and C. So when you set this in place, coming from my left with the M6 bolt, we'll go through bracket C. Again, we have that nylock nut. Then you'll take the hand knob, go through bracket B. You've got the friction washer that's going to go between bracket B and bracket A. Then you can thread that in most of the way. And from here, what you want to do, snug down these brackets, get them adjusted where this moves easily, and then tighten them the rest of the way down. And then we'll verify that everything works smoothly. And then for the pivot bolt, you're just going to tighten down the hardware till it lightly seats and then back it off about a 1/4 turn so it can move freely. We're just using a 4mm Allen and 10mm socket. Next up, we have our foam strips. So we'll start with the thicker foam strips. There's going to be 2 of them. Cut to length. They're going to come straight down these sides, and the whole point of the foam strip is to help prevent any rattling or vibration between this and your roll cage. We've got a strip going across the top as well, so make sure you leave room for that. Now we have the 2 longer strips. These are a little bit thinner. They're going to go across the top, one on the inside and then one on the outside, and that's going to help prevent vibration between the roof. And before I install that one on the other side, I've got a little plug for the windshield wiper. There's 2 little tabs on each side you gotta press in. And we'll go ahead and flip the windshield over. And then on this front side, we're barely crossing that edge on the corner. And now we can install the windshield wiper. Remove that little nut off the end, pull the mount off, then remove 1 nut, washer, and grommet. So we're just going through the inside of the windshield, reinstall the grommet and washer along with that nut. We're going to use a 19mm wrench to tighten this down. Just need to get it snug. It doesn't have to be crazy tight. Next, we're going to prep the wiper. So press in on the 2 tabs on the wiper, and this should pop up. Now we can take the wiper arm, go through that cover, and hook it onto the blade. Make sure it's all the way down. Then when it is, snap the cover back in place. Now we can take the handle coming through from the inside of the windshield. And then I like to line up the arm with the handle so they're both in line with each other. And you can see that mount's kind of at an angle. It's spring loaded. Press it down. And there's also splines on this that will line up with that handle. We've got that small nut on top, and we'll just use a 10mm combo wrench to tighten it down. Push the cover down, and your wiper is now good to go. Before we bring the windshield over to the machine, we have a roof on ours, so we're going to loosen up the front mounting hardware along with the hardware on our light bar. Next, we're going to remove the stock A-pillar bolts on each side. Now for the A-pillar mounts, they have a little tab towards the bottom. These are side specific. To get these ready, you're going to take one of your mounting bolts with a washer, put it through there. You've got a spacer on the other side. And then you can bolt that into your mounting location on the A-pillar. And just keep in mind that the A-pillar, you might need to adjust it up or down, because once the bolts are out of it, this can shift around just a little bit. So we're going to use an alignment punch. And for us, we're also running the mirror mounts. So let me show you how to set those up. So if you're running the mirror mounts, there is a bend towards the top of the mirror mount, and that bend is going to face in towards the cab. And then the setup is exactly the same. You're just using the longer bolts that came with the mount, and this is going to sit just inside of your A-pillar mount for your windshield. So I'm just going to start with the lower bolt. To me, that's the easiest. And again, I'm using this alignment punch. If you wanted to use a pry bar on that roll cage, you can. I would just recommend covering this up with a little bit of tape so you don't scratch anything. And then once you have the roll cage lined up, you just want to start the bolt by hand and make sure you don't cross thread it. And I'm just going to use a 19mm socket to get that tightened down. And just before it's all the way tightened down, I want to pull up just a little on that A-pillar. We'll tighten it all the way down, and it's going to make it easier to install the second bolt. So it's still just loose enough we can move these around. Don't forget that spacer. And I'm going to leave these just a little loose so we can make adjustments once we have the windshield in place. We'll go ahead and do those same steps on that other side. Next, you want to have a friend help you set the windshield in place. And the windshield needs to drop behind those two front fenders. And now we need to work it past our light bar and our roof. So to get this in here, we're actually going to have to remove one of our light bar mounts. We'll raise this and the roof up, set that into place, and then reinstall that mounting hardware. After that, you can install the 4 M8 by 20mm button head bolts at the bottom of the windshield. We've got a washer on each one. Go through the windshield frame, through the L bracket, nuts on the back side. Now for the two top mounting locations, you're going to use an M6 by 20mm button head bolt. Go through the windshield. You've got this spacer on the back side. Go through the gusset in the frame, and then we have the nut on the back side. Now that we have everything loosely installed, we're going to adjust the windshield from side to side and top to bottom. Just keep in mind the sealing gasket across the bottom, you want that to be in contact with your machine, but you don't want that gasket completely smashed. And if you did install mirror mounts at the same time, make sure those are aligned as well. And to get all this tightened down, again, we have the 19mm socket, we've got 4 and 5mm Allens, and then we also have our 13 and 10mm sockets. And you always want to do the final tightening on the nut side of the bolt. And in these corners, you're going to have to use a 13mm combo wrench. And then from here, we can reinstall any accessories that we previously removed. For us, that's going to be our light bar along with the roof, and we're installing those mirrors. And that's it for installing the Tusk Full Glass Windshield on your Kawasaki KRX 1000. If you need one of these, you can find them on our website. Just click the link in the description below. And if you have any questions about the installation process, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and if you like this video and want to see more like it, you're going to want to subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.